What's going on, my friends? Well, I decided I'd do another video here tonight. Just had something on my mind I wanted to talk about. And of course, I'm going to get to doing some power. I want to talk about power options, but not tonight. Tonight, I want to talk about some things you need to know if you're going to build an RV van. There really is some important things that you need to know, and I'm going to get this camera adjusted. There we go. That's better. I can now see my face, and hopefully you can too. Not that it's all that great, but anyway. But there's some things you need to know. We'll touch on a few things. If you're going to build a van, there's some important things that you got to take in consideration here. Some important things you need to know here. I did a lot of research. I did about 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 years of research. I mean, it was notes after notes. You wouldn't believe the notes I took on doing it. I ended up first going with the RV and then going with the build here. And now I'm thinking about I need just a little bit more space in certain ways, and maybe splitting the divvy, having a travel van like this, and then getting either a travel trailer RV or having a lot of my own and putting a tiny home on it, like a little home base like I talked about I might need to do. But some important things, though, man, you got to think about if you're going to build and get this van. First is, when you go to find that van, what kind of van you want. But one of the first things I can tell you is that if you're going to get this van, you need to consider your insurance on this deal. And I tell you this because it's the one thing that kind of bit me, and I overlooked it by thinking the insurance was just going to be okay. The van would be insured and I'm good. And then I could build it and insure it with an RV. I didn't do enough research to go, okay, well, the company that insures custom RVs is a company called Foremost. They wouldn't insure it unless I had invoices from an upfitter. Now, I could tell you to try to do this, and it just depends on the upfitter. But if you buy a van that's pre-built and there wasn't receipts and the upfitter didn't do it, and somebody did it and did an amazing job, you probably could take it to an upfitter and have them inspect it, not investigate it. You can have them inspect it and just tell them, hey, listen, here's what I need. Can you inspect it and make sure everything by liability is up to your standards and safe? If there's anything that needs to be changed for your safety, I'll pay you to change it. What I need is if you could write me some invoices maybe to get this thing insured. But I want to make sure that you're safe with doing that for your liability, because they're not just going to write you invoices on a van they've never seen, because something happens to that and it's a building fault. The insurance company's going to be looking to go after somebody, and the company you handed invoices to that claims they built it, the invoices are there. They're going to go after them to help cover that cost. And, they can't say, well, I just wrote them the invoices. I didn't actually build it. Insurance company. And if it ever went to court, the courts are not going to buy that. It's not going to happen. So you have to be very careful. And the reason I say this is this. The insurance is a very important factor. So if you're looking to get one of these ProMasters or Sprinter, these vans are considered cargo vans, folks. They're not passenger vans. And I found out real quick when I called Progressive, and they wouldn't touch it. There wasn't a business attached to it. I wasn't using it for business purposes. I kind of slipped up and told them I was building an RV with it, and they're like, can't do it. We won't insure custom-built RVs, only manufactured. And it floored me. I didn't realize this. I was like, oh, my God, what am I going to do? I have to get insurance on this van. I don't know what to do. Now, I had a business for years that had delivery vehicles. And I had the business policy and everything was set up, and they insured them because they knew the business was there. I didn't think to connect the two that, yeah, these are cargo vans. They're considered either cargo or construction or business vans. If you have a business license and you're running a business and you have a business policy, well, they'll insure. That wasn't quite the case here with this van. So I went to, the first time I could get his AAA, had a company that insured it, so they insured it. And then I needed to try to insure it as an RV. I found that my independent agent that I worked through with other policies when I worked from my home found auto owners that insured it. What auto owners did is they insured it as a custom value. In other words, God forbid something happens to this van, there's a custom value that money I put into it and the cost of the van. Now, what it would be, God forbid something happens, based on maybe depreciation is a different thing. Now, I will say these vans hold an amazing resale value, but you know how insurance companies are. Unfortunately, it's something you may have to, and I hate to say this because I can't stand it, but, sometimes you'd have to get an attorney involved for unfair insurance practices, because insurance companies like to see, they push the envelope, see what they can get away with. I had an attorney tell me one time, insurance companies make money not paying claims, and they don't think you're going to fight that, and it's sad you have to do that anymore. It really is. I mean, insurance companies, honestly, I guess years ago never were that bad. It was the value of the vehicle at the time. So, but you need to know that. It's very important if you're looking to do this. And my best advice to you, and if I get another vehicle, it's going to be a passenger vehicle, because my car insurance will insure it that way. Because what I intend to do is, if I split the divvy and have a home base, I'm going to have a vehicle that I can convert where there's not as much money put into it, and I can get the stuff out of there. It's used for travel purposes only, where I can travel in it. I've got my bed, I've got a small fridge, I've got a little storage. And in my case, I'm a musician, I got to carry music gear, and I've got that insured separately, thank goodness. So I don't have to worry about that in an RV aspect. But, I'm not worrying about the inside belongings in the vehicle's insured, then I'm safe, I think it's being worried about the loss factor on things more so than anything. So you got to think about this stuff. When I insured my RV, I had probably better insurance on that than I did my condo and my homes. You had pest control and roof coverage, and I had about $15,000 worth of coverage for the inside belongings. It also extended that within that $15,000 was an storage unit. Progressive has great RV insurance. If you get an RV, Progressive's insurance is amazing. I was paying $57 a month for the insurance policy on that RV. That's everything. Collision, liability, good collision and liability, and all the stuff that went into it. They had where you could put you up in a hotel if they had to, if it had to be worked on, or put you in a rental car, or pay some expenses. It really was a good policy, and I would insure my RVs if I got another one with Progressive again, because they're that good. They really are good. So insurance is very important. Now, number 2 things you need to know is your vehicle type. If you are looking to build, and goes back on the insurance part, is be thinking about the type of van or vehicle you want to do. One is it's important that I say maybe you should get a van that's a passenger, and you can convert that. Reason, then you can insure it quicker. And it might be a little easier to start the build and start slow. When you do a vehicle build, I think the best advice is, and I've mentioned this channel before, is Chrome Valdez, that channel, Van City Vanlife. That guy, if you watch his videos from the beginning, he's got it on his playlist says watch from the beginning. Watch him from the beginning. That Ford Econoline 250 or 450 van he's in, I can't remember which it is, but it hasn't always been like that. He started with a bare van. He had a platform bed and some totes and, a little Mr. Buddy to a Wave 3 heater, and he used portable power start. Now it was perfect, and he didn't need it. Listen, he had a Jackery 240, and he had a 400. Listen, he's like an ambassador for Jackery. He's got every Jackery product known to man. These are great products, and I'll talk about this when I talk about portable power. But he started out doing that, and then he got like an AGM and charged with somebody helped him set it up with this alternator charge, a little charge controller, and a little small inverter, and he's built on that. Over the last 3.5 years, almost 4 years he's been in there, he's built a great van. He's had somebody build him cabinets and get everything set up, and he's got a Webasto heater in that van, and in his tires. Basically, he's got a 4-season van. It's 4-season coach, because he's in the snow up there in Canada, so it's very important. Think about your vehicle type. Think about where you want to go with it, what that vehicle will drive and how it will handle. All-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, because, these Sprinters can be 4-wheel and all-wheel drive, but these ProMasters are only 2-wheel drive. There's no 4-wheel drive ProMaster that I know of, unless it was from the Verse series. So your front-wheel drive, these vans here are not really made to do a lot of off-road. You can put tires in them and jack them up a little bit, and I think Trent and Alley did that a little bit, but many a times they got stuck. That's a front-wheel drive vehicle, and it's when you're trying to get up hills that are muddy or sketchy, they were doing that in South America. That front-wheel drive van, it got pretty scary if you watch some of those videos. Followed their whole series of them going through Mexico and South America down to Argentina. It's fascinating. It's really cool. They did an amazing job without any serious problems. It really did. So they actually got their van back. They made a deal with the company as a sponsor and helped them ship the van back to them. Somebody got in there and stole some stuff out of it, but other than they got the van back in one piece. It's nothing that can't be replaced. So, but not to mean to get off tangent, but think about the vehicle type that you're looking for. It's very important. And the insurance part of it, I think your passenger vans and SUVs are probably your best bet, because you're going to be able to insure it, and then you can take it from there. I mean, if you want a van, you want somebody to convert. I'll make sure if you do that, when you're thinking of the insurance, make sure that you have an upfitter that is licensed, bonded, and insured. It's very important. He's got a certificate for this stuff, because if he's not a licensed and insured upfitter, the insurance company that insures that's not going to insure it. So it'll be no different than you doing it yourself. And, these upfitters can charge $120,000, $140,000, just depending on what kind of technology you want in it. And there's some guys I know of that are absolutely amazing. They put some of the best technology in his van. So anyway, number 3, what type of build are you looking for? In other words, think about where you're going to be, which is very important. What season? When they say you want a 2 or 3 or 4 season coach, a van, this could be 2 to 3 based on maybe window covers and then, the vehicle, but it's not really a winter, because I don't have a heater in here. I can get one, and I can make it a 3 or 4 season. All I got to do is just get one of those all-in-one gas or diesel heaters, or a Wabasto. Done. It's not hard to put in a 4 season heat if I wanted to do it. Actually, I can just take a Wave 6 safely with a propane tank, but propane makes me nervous if it's not done right. So be very careful with that, by the way. But think about your build. Think about how you insulate it. I insulated this with Havelock wool and the panels, and I had a thermal break with the foil 3mm foam on it. And you're really going to want it very well insulated, but you won't vent too. You got to have it vented. That's most important. You build your van, make sure it is vented, because if you do get a heat source in here or something, you got to vent it. Moisture sakes, but also carbon monoxide. You have to be very careful with that. Also make sure that you've got smoke and carbon monoxide, testers and detectors. I've got a tester in the drawer. I can check for gas. I also have one of those RV gas detectors you see on the bottom towards the floor in RVs. And it was easy to install. It's just a negative positive 12 volt to my fuse panel. It's down here, standard gas detector. So all things are covered in this. It'll cover carbon monoxide and certain gases, propane leaks and stuff like that. It's very important. But if you're thinking about the build and what season you want, where you want to be, it's and that really is also important when you're thinking about that, is whether you want to air condition in that van or whether you want to heat. These Chinese diesel and gas heaters, the all-in-ones, are very cheap, $150, $200, and people are raving about them. They're amazing. You got the Wabastos. If you want to spend the $1,200, go ahead. You got to get it installed. It's a couple of big holes in the floor, and the Wabasto, with that one, and even the Chinese version of that, you've got to decide whether you're going to have a tank or tie it into your fuel line. I caution you to be very careful if you're going to put it in the fuel line of your vehicle. Make sure somebody who really knows what they're doing on that. With this vehicle, I wasn't going to do it because you avoid a warranty, and if something happened, it could be a very, very costly mistake, and I don't want to burn up a fuel pump or catch the van on fire or something. Insurance company wonder what caught fire, to investigate. You tied something between the fuel line. It's on you. They probably won't cover it, and they get away with not covering it. So just be very careful on that. For an air conditioning, I can't recommend highly enough the Cruise and Comfort air conditioning system. And I know what you're saying. Well, that's so expensive, but it's worth it. Between that Chinese all-in-one heater, diesel, and that Cruise and Comfort, you probably spend around $5,000, $5,200. It's worth it to get that. It is worth the price. You got the King Tech you can put on the roof, but I'm going to tell you the King Tech is not 100% true 12 volt. The compressor in it is a 120 volt compressor, and you got one on your roof. And here, you don't even know there's an air conditioner in my van. I've got a condenser fan on the bottom of it. I've had people get on there and make comments and argue, your air conditioner is not a true 12 volt. There's no way there's 120 volt in there. They all are. I said, no, it's not. I can tell you right now. You got a lot of these running in these 18-wheelers that are not 100% 12 volt either, because the truck's running as a and there's a generator running. There's a 120 volt compressor. Cruising Comfort has the one ultimate true 12 volt compressor design because it's an automotive compressor. It's been converted. I can guarantee you it's an automotive compressor that has been converted. Not the easiest thing in the world to do, but listen, they make those things for Disney and stuff, and they're quiet. They're amazing units, and I'm telling you, I recommend it if you're going to get an air conditioning in your van build or any kind of van build. If I go to another van that is somewhat converted or partially, I probably am going to splurge and get both of those put in there just as a heat and AC source back there just to have, no matter what I do, because it's important, man. You can be someplace that's just hot as the blaze, and it's important to do that. Really is. Now, it's up to you whether you want the vehicle to run to charge your batteries. It doesn't really use a ton of juice. You can't run it constantly, but if you set it like 80 degrees or something at night, it runs off and on, probably use 30% of your battery over 8 to a 10-hour period. It really isn't that much. It's so worth it. I'm telling you, it really is. So, number 4, what kind of power setup do you want when you get in a van? That all depends on what you want in that van. For instance, if you want this, which looking back at it, I probably didn't need this. Smaller microwave would have been fine. I could have used the rest for storage space. But it is what it is. It's cool. Whoever gets it, you can plug shore power and use the convection oven in this thing. You can use a lot of appliances, to this thing, and it really is cool. I got a 3,500 watt inverter in here and 300 watts of solar, and I've got a lot of stuff here, and it's all 12 volt. My AC is running solely off my battery. There's nothing plugged in. There's no generator, so I can tell you. But think about that. I didn't spend as much as you would think on my electrical, but I spent a fair amount, quite a bit. The battery and a couple other items were the most expensive out of it. If you're not looking for needing a whole lot, I'm telling you, an all-in-one power system. Hang on one second, and I'll show you right here. An all-in-one power system like these Energies. It has a 1,500 watt inverter. This has 90 amp hours in it. Energy has expansion batteries now. Sorry about that. Some little dust. Haven't used it in a while. But Energy's got expansion batteries now. You can put 3 or 4 batteries on this thing. Have it all in one. And have 280 to 360 amp hours of battery. They have solar panels now that you can either you can put in there, put on the roof of this thing. Now, with this particular one, you can't use the solar and plug it in your cigarette lighter at the same time. But if you're driving, unplug your solar panel, plug in your cigarette lighter, plug and charge it, You can do either one. There's nothing wrong with that. You can unplug the solar panels. It'll be fine. It's so ideal. I'm telling you, the next van I get, it's not going to be that all-in-depth. It's going to be all-in-one like this. I'm going to get the expansion batteries. I've got one 100-watt panel for this, but I believe I may get maybe some more. We'll see. I probably won't put them on the roof. I'll probably have a vent fan, and I may try something different. But I will use this. I'll charge it with the vehicle and cigarette lighter plug when I'm driving. But the thing is I've got I'll have a refrigerator that's smaller than one I have if I do something smaller. But this will run my refrigerator. It'll run my water kettle, a 700-watt microwave. You can heat up your oatmeal in the morning. Tell you, this thing can suit all your needs. You can get a couple of more, and I'm telling you right now, no matter what you live in, whether it be a house, condo, van, RV, car, tent, backup power like this is so important. Can't have enough of it. Honest to God, you really can't. So be thinking about what kind of power system you want. Looking back on it, I think the all-in-one setups, I think, are best if you don't require a whole lot. There's just a million and one options with power that you can do, and do your research on that. I can't stress enough, do your research. Just look at what you need and don't need. And that's why I recommend you start small in a van build. I agree wholeheartedly with that. I mean, I built this thing to kind of sell, but I was thinking, well, I could have it long term, and it just depends. It's hard to say. So, but looking back on it, I think the idea of really starting small and working your way up is so important. It really is. So it is very important. I'm just going to set that right there because I want to run back here. Anyway, but that's very important. So number 5, what type of waste system do you want? In other words, my water system is a 7-gallon water tank under the sink. I've got a C-Flow 12-volt pump. It's so quiet. Hell, it sounded quieter and better than the one in my RV. Great pump. It wasn't expensive. The water pump was $160, I think, on Amazon. Not an expensive thing. Easy to wire, you know. You just got to put a good switch in there. I got the switch backwards. I got to flip it over. Easy peasy. But my waste tank is a 5-gallon bucket. I've got the drain going straight in it, and I just dump it out. You can do whatever you want on that deal. You can make it as simple or as big as you want. If I do another vehicle, it's a travel vehicle, I'm not going to have that much entailed into that. I'm going to have sort of a little water system I can use in a waste system, like a gray bucket or a jug where I could just dump it and just have to be able to just clean off and wash real quick, like a little basin, my bowl for my oatmeal or whatever I make in the microwave or something simple, because you're not using it to do a lot of heavy cooking. And I don't do that in here, even though I could probably pretty much do whatever I want in here if I put my mind to it. It's amazing what you can do. But think about that, what kind of waste and water system you want. Also, on a, you know, if you think of you want a toilet in there, I'll tell you the best option. I have the Thetford Curve down here, the cassette toilet. That is the best portable toilet on the market. The sky's the limit unless you just feel like you want to use a bucket. I don't really think that's not an option you have to do. This 5-gallon bucket with a bag bit. People have said that, like, I'm not paying $100 for a Thetford Curve toilet. That Thetford Curve is so easy. You keep it treated like I did my RV. You keep it treated with the Dawn dish liquid and Calgon water softener in it, and you got treatment packets. Get half a gallon of water always in there. If nothing's in there, keep it in there. So if you use it and you fill up with water, when you go to drain it, everything is broken down clean. There's no smells, and don't want to get graphic on that, but I mean, hell, we all have to deal with that. It is what it is. But the Thetford Curve is ideal. I'm telling you by experience. It tucks right up under the bed here to the side, out of the way. If I have to pull it out or whatever I've got to do, you know, it really is. So be thinking about that, because it's, there's a lot of different options in what you'd want to do with something like that. And it's just, you know, again, you're what you need, what you want, what you're willing to live with. Like when you build a van, do you want a shower in that thing? That's going to be a part of your build that, honestly, like my cabinet here, your showers, probably the width of this cabinet's a little closet space. Like if you go watch Jared Tachi in his old van, his first one, Ghost, go look at that playlist. He had a shower in it. It was a closet. He had a drain that went down to a gray tank. He goes, I could have just let that soap water just go into the street. It wouldn't have mattered. He lived in that thing on the streets of Los Angeles, parked street side in different places for 2 years, and no one ever knew a thing. It was amazing. You know, the guy had a nice build, and it was fantastic. So didn't require a lot of heat because he was in Los Angeles, but he had it. So be it that it may. So anyway, number 6, how much storage do you think you need? Think about that one. Your storage is very important. I'm a musician. I have music gear I'll travel with me, but you may have bicycles or inflatable kayaks or stuff you want to carry with you. The under the bed storage here is amazing because my air conditioning's under there, and you know, the Thetford Curve. It's a great storage option. I like this, even though I probably could have maybe figured another route with cabinets. You can do single or double beds one way and cabinets another with an aisle way. But it just depends on how your power setup is and fridge, and if you wanted a toilet and how that is. Go look at all these builds, you know, what kind of storage you need. I mean, are cabinets and shelving important? You know, I use IKEA cabinets in here. People go, oh man, those IKEA suck. No, they don't. I had IKEA stuff in my house, tables, couches. Solid wood stuff is some of the best made stuff I've had. It just depends on what you buy at IKEA. This isn't solid wood, but it's not exposed to water. It's a great storage cabinet. Now, these base cabinets, if they're around water, like over here under my sink, you'll see the video where we coated it with Plastidip because I didn't want any water getting on that, and it was important that we did that. The Plastidip was very important. I Plastidip the tray that my refrigerator's in. I still have to do some more adjustments to that, you know, tray. But, you know, when you look to build, just remember there's going to be some adjustments. There's going to be some things you may want to do differently. That's why getting in there for a while and just kind of moving things around. How do you like things? How would you want to build it before you actually go build it? I think it's very important. I use a system of plus nuts and that steel rail into the frame of the van, which is absolutely the best thing I could have done, because everything in this van you see can unbolt and come out of here. It'd take a while, but we can unbolt and I can redo. I could do a different configuration of the vehicle if I wanted to do it. Whatever I wanted to do, I could do it. It'd be absolutely amazing. Like I changed that desk out and made the bench there. I could go back and do a desk or whatever I wanted to do, you know. One thing I did important, though, is behind these cabinets and all these joints between things, we use something called Camper Seal. You get it for about $7 a roll at Lowe's. Camper Seal, gosh, if I had to get a piece of it, there's a piece I got to grab over here that's too much, but it's gray, and it's that seal that goes between a truck topper, camper topper, and the bed of a truck. It keeps it from scratching it, but it cushions it. It keeps any noise. You don't hear any squeaking. The only squeaking you may hear is the thing inside the microwave here, or something rattling around in the shelf, but no squeaking. It's so quiet back here. In fact, we were riding in it, and I was going down pretty good speed down the road, 50, 60 miles an hour. And Clancy was back here going, I don't even hear much road noise. And a lot of it is the thickness of the flooring and the type of flooring we put in here and the insulation. You just don't hear much road noise. People who are around my van, I don't hear them that much at all unless car cranks up or someone's tapping on the side of the van or something. It's faint because I insulated this thing very, very well, I might add. So there's a lot of things you really need to know. They're very important before you first buy this van. Figuring out what type of van you need and how you want to build, and the things you want to do, the things that go into a build. You know, it's very important. I can't stress enough to just do your research, even if it takes a while. You may already be doing it. Just watch these channels, look at different builds, watch them build it, look at your options. I tell you, the coolest things in the world are the simplest things you could do. I went into this build thinking I was going to do all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm just going to make it simple. Like I didn't wire any AC jacks behind the walls here. I didn't want to do it. I have AC jacks, but they're extension cord AC jacks that go into the inverter, and they're ran very professionally into the wall. They look like they were built in, but they weren't. It gives you the option if you're going to move things. That's another thing, is you don't want a lot of things behind the walls that you got to get to. The only things behind the walls in this van are these two lights right here. These two lights right here have the cords go down, and I know where they go down to here. My fantastic fan, sorry about that, goes down to the wall, and just these puck lights, that's it. It's the only thing that's behind the wall. I don't have any other wiring or anything I can't get to. Everything is run up under this bed rail and down behind the shelves. I can get to anything I need. And then most importantly, if you do wire it, you use 4-conductor marine grade wire. They call it speaker wire, but it's marine grade. Use 4-conductor. I tell you why. You need spares. If you want to wire something else, I've got 2 other pairs for everywhere I'm at here. I could wire another wire and back through and put something else here if I had to wire another 12 volt. It's important to do. Have spares. One quits and you can't track it. You got those spares. Just move them over. It's very important to do because, things happen. Listen, based on my experience running cabling over the years and electronics and stuff that I've done, working on things, I worked in telecommunications, punching down. It was a nightmare trying to find a bad connection where it was at. So we had to either use a spare or run another line. He ran them in pairs. We had to get this pair and jack. This color, they were colored pairs, blue, white, white, blue, and orange, white, white, orange. And we had to, okay, orange, white, white, orange is spare, so let's move it there and let's go terminate at the other end. We know where it was at. Tone it out, make sure they connect, and then move it out. So not to get technical on you, but anyway, I want to jump on and talk about that a little bit. And if you have any questions in the comments, throw them down there. I'll answer them on any advice, anything I can give you, And I don't have enough subscribers to really go live for people to ask questions, but, one day that may come about. Anybody can jump on, man. Just ask me. If you want to go live and just talk, ask me questions. I don't care if there's 4 people in it. I'll do it sometime. I don't mind doing it, And I've always said, listen, all these guys with the van channels, if you're watching, let's cross-promote each other. It's important to do that. My buddy Matty in Nashville, man, I'd like to cross-promote with him. He's done a good job at, calling my channel out, and I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, man. And right now, he isn't doing much content. He's been real bummed out lately. Nashville's gone through a bad week since Christmas, and I hate that, but it's going to get better for them. Thankfully, they found out the source of that would happen, and thankfully no one was hurt badly or killed on that. There were a couple people hurt, but people have survived it, thank goodness. So it's just somebody who was mentally ill, and it's so sad. And They don't know of another motive or anybody else involved on that deal, but I think they'll get to the bottom of it. So anyway, I thank you guys for watching so much, and if I do another video before the new year, I'll see you then. If not, you guys have a great new year, and we're going to hope for a better 2021. Thank you again for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Be cool. Bye.